If you're someone who's always been a bit of a worrier, then this is something that you're going to want to know. What's more, it's going to take you less than 10 minutes to learn. In fact, let's see if we can do it in under 7. Hi, I'm Victoria Lacey, Principal Cognitive Behavioural Psychotherapist at GetCBT. So if you take some time just to jot down your worries, you're going to notice something very interesting. They generally fall into 2 distinct categories: current worries and hypothetical worries. What do I mean by this? Well, a current worry is a tangible problem that's happening right now. Picture this: I'm boating on a lake, I look down and I see water coming in the boat. My current worry is, how do I deal with this hole in my boat? Now, because of their nature, current worries are generally problem solvable. Hypothetical worries, on the other hand, are worries about future problems for which there is no direct evidence in the here and now that will even actually happen. Your example: I'm boating on the lake and I think, what if my boat were to sink? Okay, so what's so interesting about that? Well, when you stew over a problem, I'd guess that you're probably trying to prevent something from going wrong. But let's look how each of these different kinds of worries respond to that approach. If I were to try and solve that current boating problem, how do I deal with this hole in my boat? I might consider, plugging the hole, or shouting for help, or assessing the chance of me swimming back to the bank okay. I consider each of these and I might decide, you know what, the boat's knackered, but there is someone close by that I can call to for help. Meanwhile, stewing over the hypothetical version, what if my boat were about to sink? Well, my mind would just simply send me into overdrive trying to assess the countless scenarios or aspects of that problem. Well, what if the hole was too big to plug? What if I'm too far away from the bank? What if there's no one around? And I'm not quite sure what I'm solving here. You can't exactly solve something that has an infinite number of possibilities of how it could actually pan out, and something that hasn't even happened yet. That's why when you worry about hypothetical problems, you might end up feeling really quite demoralised and exhausted. Well, if you want to learn how to manage worry, how to reduce your anxiety and find your focus again, knowing the difference between these 2 worries is going to be very important, because if you can classify your worries, then you will know exactly how to manage them. So whenever you feel anxious and notice yourself worrying, ask yourself, what is it that I'm worrying about? And once you've written it down, think, is this a current problem? Do I have evidence it is happening right now? And if you identify it is indeed a current problem, at the next convenient moment, I want you to take some time just to think it through and problem solve it. We do this by pooling all the possible solutions and considering the pros and cons of each solution. Once you consider which option that you want to trial, you give it a go and review it regularly. Now, if it's not a case of problem solved, then it may be in your interest to try something else. Or where you're doing everything you can, then sometimes it's just helpful to try and refocus your attention, knowing that you're doing everything you possibly can. My top tip for problem solving is, make sure your worry is reworded into a how question. How do I pay my electric bill? Or how do I approach my boss for a pay rise? If it's a hypothetical problem, that is, we don't have any evidence that it will be a problem, but it is a possibility, and you feel really anxious not knowing, then for this we use something called worry time. You may want to invest in a notebook and clear a 20-minute window in your evening schedule, and this is going to become your dedicated worry time. When you notice a hypothetical worry in the day, at the time it enters your mind, just note it down into your notepad. Once written down, you can close the notepad, safe in the knowledge that you're going to come back to this later. Put the notepad somewhere safe, and in that moment, just try your best to refocus your attention back onto what you're doing. And if you're not doing anything, do something that interests you. Perhaps listen to music, go for a walk, or read a book. Later that evening, in your worry time, you might have added quite a few different hypothetical worries by now. So sit down and get comfy for a moment, take a look through all of your worries and try and notice which worries still bother you. You may wish to cross out any that are no longer anxiety provoking. But for what is left, this is the time that can be used to worry. You have a dedicated 20 minutes to worry about the issues that you've been considering. But once finished, again, we're really wanting to refocus our attention onto what you're doing. Now, this intervention works so well because it helps you to take action with current problems that are just crying out for your attention. It's really important to address these. But where there really is no workable solution right now, this process can help you understand that you're doing all you can right now, and you can always go back to your ideas and try something else in the future. For hypothetical worries that have no tangible solution, following this method helps you to shelve the things you have little or no control over happening and refocus your attention onto the tasks you have at hand, spending time with people you care about, or simply enjoying those little moments in life. This is one really simple but useful intervention that many people find helpful to manage worry. If you find it helps but doesn't offer quite as much relief as you need, then speak to a cognitive behavioural therapist who can match and tailor an entire treatment package to what you're struggling with most. And if you have found this video useful, then please like and subscribe for more useful ideas to find your best self again. Thank you for listening.